continuation of nomination of candidates for president. At this hour, we will be bringing you the nomination of the leader of the Gambia Opposition Gambia Democratic Congress, Mama Kandeh. He will also be here to file his nomination papers after the first candidate for today, Mamadi K.S. Camara, the independent Mamadi K.S. Camara, who just a moment ago or a few hours ago completed filing his nomination here at the Independent Electoral Commission. Next month is presidential election. Candidates have been coming to tender their nomination credentials to officials of the IEC for vetting. I am with Sajo. Sajo, thank you for being here. I mean, after your...
Thank you very much, Lamin. I feel like a complete stranger being here, but it feels good to be here.
Wonderful.
Yes, and like you rightly
said,
absolutely, thank you very much. And like you rightly said, we are here today, day 4 of the nomination, as Gambians prepare to head to the polls come December 4th. I like to call this the final vetting before Gambians finally head to the polls. Now, for the past couple of days, we've seen a lot happen, actually. We've seen party leaders or political leaders and aspirants walk up here to the IEC to tender their documentation for the final review process before the IEC officials. Now, some people came here with stacks of documents, and we've seen others come here with incomplete paperwork, which has begged some questions from Gambians asking if these people who are actually vying for the highest office are actually serious, whether they are serious about this, because if you are asked to bring certain documentation by the Independent Electoral Commission and then you walk in here without those, Gambians are asking, are you really serious about taking up that job? And they have to be referred back by the IEC officials and asked to come back again to complete their documentation process. Just a quick rundown of the things that have been happening the past couple of days. And yesterday we've had one candidate who's already did his, Mamadi K.S. Camara, who is an independent candidate, by the way. And now we are looking forward to the leader of the opposition Gambia Democratic Congress, Honorable Mama Kandeh.
So Kandeh is someone that you've interacted with a lot, and I would call him one of the heavyweights in this contest. He is coming. We've seen Usain Udabo yesterday. Aside these two, all of the candidates have been newcomers, pretty new, and their support base isn't that all strong. But Kandeh, I mean, what do you make of him in terms of this election?
To be quite honest with you, Lamin, you know, a lot of the critics were saying that, as a matter of fact, Kandeh was in fact losing it. I mean, we have seen him lose a couple of National Assembly members, and oftentimes when we hear about people cross-carpeting, they say, well, 100 people have left the GDC for President Barrow's National People's Party or another political party. So a lot of people thought that Mama Kandeh was losing his base, but of course his supporters will tell you, well, you know, one person cross-carpets and then the news carries it as, you know, a lot of people leave in GDC for other political parties, but in fact we are very strong when it comes to the grassroots. However, like his critics will always say, Mama Kandeh was losing the base, and now people are in fact saying that 90% of his supporters right now are the people from the No Alliance movement of the, you know,
of the former president,
APRC. So that's what people are saying.
So without any, our reporters are with the, I mean, Mama Kandeh will be here shortly, but we have our reporters who are on the ground at the outside of the premises of the IEC, where supporters of the GDC leader have started converging to be here to show support to their leader as he files his nomination. So we will cross over and see how things are looking like in the outside.
taxaw ni tey nag GDC ak waa APRC ñoo aye ñu ngi fi war a am interview ak gaay tey ban yëg la gaay am ci gunge Mama Kandeh tey bu mu ñëw nomination bi. Asalaamaaleykum oncle tour bi.
Asalaamaaleykum ñu ngi lay nuyu fo nga fo man ba fa la man ni ka la ka du kan man Gambia ndol mu boda jaar somana ndol nata menda wala mu nata ndol la chairman Mama Kandeh pour nga nomines at ndol nga nomine la nga ta nga dum tedaus ndem membelori ndala ñi nem district chairman opa ñomi naka fu ñoma Alaji Keba Njai Chilla ñomi Chilla jurunku naka fu ñoma ba district chairman dem mobiliser jara soma mbela vita menna walemu dal ndol nga dem Kayra nga ñibi Kayra nga jey Kayra adum bi ndol lu ngolem biti fo nga duake aliyem molum alayen tol makoy pour nga dun tedaus ondre Mama Kandeh ay me yamari molla walum nga domon kana sanka kana cele kana fitno wulindi adul be wol kono mbal kondon mbal jeyla mbadu wala Gambia la pour Gambia te ñaato nga dun kayra nga findi kayra alama woyke ñin de ci chairman opinion
assalamu alaykum Gambien ma ngi leen di nuyu yëpp di leen siyaare di leen ñaanal yàlla defal ñu jàmm bis ni ki tey ñëw nañ nominé suñ président honorable Mama Kandeh ñëw nañ ci jàmm yal nañ ñibbi ci jàmm ñu ngi ñaanal réew mi dal ak tey ñun nit ñu yore mooy no wireless duñ dem benn problème ne ñëw nominé ci jàmm ñib ci jàmm ñaanal mu gañ ci jàmm réew mi am ci jàmm ñu ngi ñaanal Gambie yëpp ñu ñëw taxaw ci gannaaw honorable Mama Kandeh xam ne moom mooy ki nga xam ne moo am yërmande Gambia moo mun a yóbbu Gambia mooy dimbale ndaw yi dimbale jigéen ñi dimbale jirim yi dimbale wéy laago yi moo mun a defar hôpital yi mooy indi garab ci réew mi mooy maye ndox ci réew mi ku bëgg réew mi la ku réew mi jàmm benn politicien bu mel ni Mama Kandeh kenn gisagut ko ci àdduna mu toog mu wax ne man Mama Kandeh su nekkee ne jàmmi réew mi nekkut ci man yal na bu ma ko yàlla jox loolu bëri na politicien yoo xam ne ñi mu ñoo toog wax loolu kon ñu ngi koo gërëm di ko sant di gërëm Gambien yi di leen ñaan ne ñu ànd dal ak tey ñun nominé ci jàmm ñibbi ci jàmm xam ne ñun ñoom ñoo bokk réew mi nañ bokk ndey ak baay muy UDP GDC APRC képp koo xam ne moo jig réew mi yal na ko yàlla jox réew mi ne ñaan dal ci réew mi jàmm rek moo fi am fii Gambien la kilifa yu baax yi ñoo fi ne di ñaanal réew mu jàmm ak tiranga yal na yàlla wàccee fi jàmm ñu ngi leen di gërëm di leen sant di kontaan ci bis bi yal na yàlla may ñu ndam bu baax.
kontaan nga am tey ñëw pour ngeen ñëw nominer seen candidat bi di Mama Kandeh.
Say it again.
ban kontaan ngeen am tey.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Tey kontaan bu ma am tey mënuma ko wax. Man maa ngi tudd Bijiba di GDC Regional PRO known as GDC Commando so ma war a ñëw fii tey nominé His Excellency Right Mama Kandeh loolu nekk na kontaan trop ñu ngi ko sant yàlla bu baax ndax gis naa ne Gambian Mama Kandeh lu tax ma am kontaan pour nominer ko war a ñëw tey fekk ñu nomination bi tey gis naa Mama Kandeh dafa nekk politicien boo xam ne depuis bu mu ñëwee in 2016 dafa change the dimension of politique bu nekk si biir Gambia fii dafa change politique bu nekk si biir Gambia fii gis naa ne Mama Kandeh bu mu ñëwee 2016 definitely 2016 ba dee today Mama Kandeh développement bu mu def fii te muy nekk opposition boo xam ne in the history of the Gambia musul am si biir Gambia fii so tey su ñëwee ñëw fii ci nominate ko definitely loolu dafa nekk kontaan trop tey man as a supporter of GDC nekk a member of GDC tey I feel proud to be a politician te feel naa proud pour ma nekk GDC because suma political party bi tey si njiital ma His Excellency Mama Kandeh lu mu def si biir Gambia fii amul benn political party koo xam ne def na ko fii since 1965 today nekk opposition def 112 boreholes def ay different projects from the bridge nga dem si yoon yi nga dem si school yi nga dem si baameli nga dem fu nekk am na jigéen boo xam ne depuis 1965 dañ doon use seen loxo di wol His Excellency Mama Kandeh moo ko stop soo demee Gambia Brikama College toog yu fa nekk His Excellency moo ko yóbbu foofu soo demee si fiil yi mu ngi dimbal si youth yi so GDC dafa ñëw empower the youths and the women of this country te gis nañ ko soo demee si wàllu youth yi for example tey the youngest parliamentarian today Honorable Umar Ceesay is from GDC mu na wa the youngest parliamentarian in Africa is Honorable Umar Ceesay so obviously suñu la wane GDC is just came to empower the youth of this country definitely loolu war na nekk dëgg because joxe na example bi fu mu nekk ñu ngi sant ñëpp di ngeen gërëm ñëpp di sant yéen journalist seen liggéey is very important because yéen a da ngeen war a tasaare information bi di woon ko fu nekk adduna bi gis ko His Excellency ñu ngi wax Adama Barrow na paak bagaasam Mama Kandeh mu ngi ñëw na bu bagaasam mu dem eeg garab bu nga xam ne mu ne 500 meters na dafa His Excellency is coming with full forces on the 4th of December dafa nekk His Excellency Right Mama Kandeh moom la ñu announce pour as a president of the Republic of the Gambia because yërëm na jigéen yi yërëm na ndaw yi tey disaster fu mu mun a am Mama Kandeh moo fa dee njëkkaañim soo demee flood problème fu mu dee am taw bi fu mu dee yaxa wala safara fu mu dee yaxa Mama Kandeh Brikama marché bi lakk na ñaari yoon Mama Kandeh doon na 100,000 tey nguur dëkk bi dafa yaaxu Adama Barrow dafa ñëw mu jaxasoo dëkk bi bala Adam Barrow di ñew so demé Brikama college time ba pour nga janga fo it was free of charge waye tay so amé 30,000 do mëna dem Brikama college so ba doole sonna nañ jigen yaangi sonna ndawi yaangi sonna couples of months gis nañ amna mbota yo xamné génné nañ di démontrer ñaata jigen ño xamné faatu nañ ci bir Gambie fi dem nañ be 204 Gambie jigen ño xamné gañu nañ because amuñ l'hôpital bu correct amuñ garab bu correct té gis nañ tamit no ci tamit génné nañ fi di démontrer ñu né just a mayor glove bo xamné amul state house sorry amul ci l'hôpital bi té Adam Barrow is very close to Banjul ci l'hôpital vi ci l'hôpital bi waye gis na ni Adam Barrow faalu l'hôpital ni so mom lu nekk intéressant de so ñu ngi sant ñep di gërëm ñu suma contenté dama contenté mënuma wa sister thank you so much di wa Gambie nañ cey ñu ñew ci Mama Kandeh thank you so much
jërëjëf mbaɗo me mewol jibe kanteng saynteng supporter sol feting APRC ni GDC kol e fele bi takam pokata Mama Kandeh bendun teng say be kata woto right now kon mako na waxe rek ci sosé gaay right now ñu ngi ni dem jëli ji Mama Kandeh ndax wax na ni mu ngi ñew xamna soretu so mom la gaay dem jëli right now tur bi
man Mohamed Lamine Sanyang
te man kontaan nga am ñew pour nga ñew nominate Mama Kandeh
yeah because of Mama Kandeh bo xolé Mama Kandeh si APRC la yaro si APRC la jangé politique so den bo gisé ñu bokka ak ñom biko dañu xamanté ba paré yar buñ ko yar mo tax ñu wolu ko ñu ñew bokka ak mom waaw dolel ko waaw pour ñu mëna nanguwaati réew mi daf because Gambia mu mel mu rafet ni ngir APRC ak Mama Kandeh because fofu la nekkon bokana ci defar Gambia bi so gis nga APRC bu mu losé togu bi Gambia mu ngi dem down so lolu motax ñu xol ne yu ne nañu bokk ak Mama Kandeh ñu mel ñu mëna jël togu bi delluwaat ki suñ liggéey bi bu ñu dooroon waaw pour Gambia mëna dem kanam yes because right now fu mu tollu ni dëkk bi baangi bankrupt really boko waxut rek bugo wax deug Gambia fu mu tollu ni mu ngi ci loxo ñeneen mu ngi ci loxo ñeneen ñoo nek di ñu contrôle pare lolu wartu Gambia is a sovereign country waaw bu warta nek ci loxo benen dëkk ko right now ni suñ security amuñu doole ci biir dëkk bi ni ko dañ leen minimize really waaw lolu motax ñu jog bokk ak Mama Kandeh ñu mëna nangu dëkk bi waaw ñu génné lolu yépp waaw ñu mëna continuer suñu liggéey bi lolu rek mo ci mëna nek waaw jërëjëf
gisa rek ken ku ñu amal interview
assalamu alaykum
ko du sank di jola
oli boy war be ga raji bo lay be Gambia wala ku gaga de bara ale burok wan sanu sere de je ulama be ga ci Jammeh tu Kandeh de Gambia di baraka bati ami tay ya je ma lay maro Gambia ko le ko wala tu gaga de wan sanu sere su yare mi tay ya je ma lay de ma aro Gambia wa salam
emi de katia baraka bake assalamu alaykum
alaykum salam Jammeh rek
man kontaan ngeen am ñëw pour nominate Mama Kandeh
kontaan bi moom ëpp na kontaan nañu su yàggee sa moom na def waaw ka
man fi ma nekk nii maa ñu kontaan mais bëgg a dee su wiine xam naa ne xam naka lay mais sa moom waaw jërëjëf that's it here from Mama Kandeh I think Mr. Njai they are about to go take Mama Kandeh from the highway and now micro back to you Mr. Njai and Sadio.
From the supporters of Mr. Kandeh that are here, you have Mama Kandeh supporters, but also you have supporters of the former president under the banner of the No Alliance movement. So Mama Kandeh is up next, one of the heavyweight politicians or leaders in this contest. He too will be here to face election house officials regarding his nomination. Sadio, so you can see some of the supporters of Mr. Kandeh speaking, they are reacting. Yeah. They sound quite excited.
They do, Lamin, and actually it's a lot of people out there just where the first barricade is, and then we can see both APRC flags. But my question is, are we allowed to say GDC and the APRC? Because there's a lot of confusion here. You know, the National Executive Committee of the APRC has, you know, gone to President Barrow's National People's Party, and then we have the No Alliance movement. So I don't know what the IEC will make of that. Will they be allowed to be going with those names? It's a question that, you know, the IEC officials will have to probably answer to us.
And I've seen some of the supporters donning APRC.
Right,
APRC
right. The T-shirts, the flags, and everything. So I don't know how that is going to work out. But the one thing for certain that's happening out there is that everyone is just excited. Both APRC, I mean, No Alliance movement of the APRC, and supporters of the Gambia Democratic Congress.
If you look at Mama Kandeh, his political history is quite interesting. I would say he's a fast riser when it comes to politics. He only came in 2016, but was able to do very well in terms of establishing GDC. GDC is standing the test of time. It's a party that is very structured. They have their structures all over the country. If you look at the GDC and look at the other parties that have been here before the GDC, say GMC for example, since 2009, but GDC only came 2016. Why do you think Kandeh has been able to do so well? You know,
a good question, Lamin, because 2016 might have been the first time that he decided to test the waters as far as presidency is concerned. But Kandeh isn't new to this game, you know. As a matter of fact, he has been a National Assembly member for like over a decade in his constituency, which is Jimara. So he's not new to this thing. And you know, people bring up this relationship about Kandeh and the APRC, but this guy has been an APRC National Assembly member for over 10 years under President Yahya Jammeh, until of course they had a fallout. And usually when you ask Kandeh why he was expelled from the party. And when you ask, he will tell you, well, maybe I think people went behind my back and said something to Jammeh, and of course I was expelled from the party. So this alliance is not a surprise to me. And I've seen some comments on social media where people say, oh, now we get it. This is why you were not coming out to kind of like condemn Jammeh in any way. Or this is why you haven't been out to kind of like, you know, show your sympathy or empathize with the victims, the alleged victims of Yahya Jammeh. So Kandeh is not new to this game. Presidency, yes, but he's been in politics for quite a while now.
And you look at the events of the past few days. His nomination is coming a few days after Jammeh supporters under the No Alliance move. I don't call them APRC, I call them the No Alliance move.
It's complicated.
Very complicated.
Very complicated.
Decided to back him, to sign a deal with him. Shahtijan Hydra was thrown under the bus, and now you have Kandeh, and they are saying they got approval from the former president for them to rally behind Mr. Kandeh. How do you see that? This crisis within APRC?
To be quite honest, Lamin, this is very complicated, and I think it has kind of, in some way, like some critics will say, has shattered the APRC to some degree, because now we have two factions, or maybe even more factions. When this whole thing happened, and then the National Executive Committee decided to go with Barrow, and now we have the No Alliance movement. Before GDC came into the picture, like you said, it was Gano, and all of a sudden Gano is nowhere to be seen. And you know, I spoke to someone who is part of the GDC, and I asked, like, I'm not seeing Gano in the picture recently. What's going on? And the person was like, yeah, because Gano wants to, you know, be the leader. You know, as all coalitions go, it's always fun and nice. It's always good until it's time to who is going to lead. So I think that's the problem. But I think some people are saying that Yahya Jammeh is not someone that you can really rely on, because he's kind of like fickle-minded, and he's not reliable, basically. Yeah, he's very erratic, because out of nowhere, he came and endorsed Gano, and then out of nowhere again came the GDC, and Gano is nowhere to be found. So this is a very, very complicated situation, and I don't know, because Shahtijan Hydra is not coming out to address the situation, to say where he stands on this matter, and neither does the GDC. All the GDC sees right now is the fact that they have the No Alliance movement of the APRC as part of them.
And also I would say that Mr. Kandeh is quite lucky these days. I mean, this decision by the APRC, Jammeh supporters to come and support him is coming at a time when he was really struggling in terms of his party and keeping his supporters.
Some would say that.
A lot of his supporters have been leaving.
Some would say that.
I mean, you've mentioned that earlier. Yeah. They've been leaving, and all of a sudden you have all these supporters who have decided to come and join him now. I mean, do you think at all this is the way for Mama Kandeh in terms of regaining his base?
Some Gambians would tend to disagree because they are saying that this is a party under someone's leadership before, which is Jammeh, that have been accused of so many things. So why would any person who has Gambia's interest at heart want to align themselves with that party? So a lot of questions have been coming up from the public. There is so much criticism about this whole GDC romance with the national, I mean, no alliance movement. So it's a very complicated situation, Lamin, because a lot of people are saying that, well, Kandeh is one of those leaders who has never come out to kind of like condemn Jammeh. So and you know what's interesting is that during the 2016 impasse, a lot of people were saying if Kandeh was in Barrow's situation, in fact, Jammeh would have left easily without any struggles or any issues, because they thought, well, Kandeh has always been kind of like a subset of the APRC. Right. Yeah. So I don't know, but I think GDC and APRC supporters, I mean, no alliance movement supporters are excited about it, but some critics have been really thinking that no sane politician will like to align themselves with Jammeh.
Jammeh can be a very enigmatic human being. I have heard reports that he was quite angry with Mama Kandeh because if Mama Kandeh didn't stand in the 2016 election, he would have won. And Mama Kandeh is the cause of his downfall. And then all of a sudden, Jammeh tells his supporters, go and support Mama Kandeh. How does one go about explaining that? Why do you think now he's now turning to Mama Kandeh, someone that he wasn't really happy with?
Maybe the whole Ghana thing was just a farce. Maybe it was just a farce. Maybe it wasn't real. But this whole thing is quite complicated, Lamin. And the only person that is in a better position to explain this whole debacle is Jammeh himself. Like, what is going on? Because you cannot tell people that you are aligning yourself with this political party, and then the next minute you are going with another political party, and the other party is nowhere to be seen or heard of. So it's a very complicated situation.
So, and also the executive of the APRC, Fabakary Tombong Jatta and his team, these are people that I feel sorry for. They laid down their lives for Jammeh. Only for Jammeh to come and say, all of you are fired, you are all traitors. And now they are in this very uncertain situation.
I feel sad for Fabakary most especially, because reports on the grapevine is that his entire family, this might be sensitive, that his entire family has in fact just kind of left him alone because of his relationship with Jammeh. So only for that person you have stood up for, and laid your entire life for, to come back and then just turn against you is really painful. I think that was a very, I don't know, it's a very sad situation for Fabakary, and I don't know what's going to happen with the APRC, but I think that these two factions are in fact what's going to destroy the party.
They are defiant, and they want to stick with President Barrow and the NPP.
Yeah.
Come what may.
Yeah.
So if you are just joining us, we are the IEC covering the nomination live of Mama Kandeh, the leader of the Gambia Democratic Congress. He is up next for nomination. He will be the next candidate to appear before officials of the IEC and file his nomination. Mama should be here anytime soon. His nomination should start at 11 a.m. It's gone past 11 already. Yeah. So any moment from now,
someone says he's the first to be late.
I think so, because all of the candidates have been quite disciplined when it comes to time. But it's gone past 11 now. We are yet to see Mr. Kandeh emerge. But I'm sure very soon we'll have Mr. Kandeh. He will also come and submit his papers to officials of the IEC. He would be maybe the 10th candidate so far to submit his nomination papers to officials of the IEC. So this process is very important. I mean, you want to stand for election, okay, you have the right to do so, but you have to fulfill certain conditions. And these conditions, you do it by way of filing your nomination papers. You bring in your documents, give it to officials of the IEC. They will go through these documents to really ascertain whether you are qualified to run or not. So Mr. Kandeh will be doing just that. He will be coming here, meet with officials of the IEC, submit his nomination papers, and he will go back and listen to the IEC. There will be a vetting exercise on Saturday. This is when this will happen, and all of the candidates will learn their fate as to whether they are qualified to run or not. So Mr. Kandeh, as I said earlier, will be one of the heavyweights, the big boys in this contest. We've seen a lot of candidates come, but if you can see, Mama Kandeh came with a very impressive crowd. Yesterday was another heavyweight in UDP leader Ousseynou Dabo. He came with a massive crowd. You have Kandeh too. He also came with an impressive crowd. We've managed to speak with some of his supporters who are here to show support to him as he meets officials of the IEC. So this is the situation. We still wait for the arrival of Mama Kandeh there. So the election, Sergio, if you look at the election, it's just a few weeks away, maybe 4 weeks away. Really, it's coming at us very, very fast. And this is going to be a very important election. The first election post-dictatorship. The most important. And it has managed to turn into a high-stakes affair. You have all of these leaders, they want to win. They want to win this election. So if you look at some of the candidates in this, let's say President Adam Barrow seeking re-election, what does this election really mean for his camp?
It means a lot because he came through a coalition ticket. Now, this is the first time that he's going to be testing the waters on his own. He's going to be testing his own popularity as the already sitting president of the Gambia. So this means a lot for his National People's Party. Let's see how it goes. Like some people would say, this has turned into a two-party affair. Some people will say this is just a race between President Barrow's National People's Party and the Gambia United Democratic Party, rather. So we will see how that is going to go. And of course, now we have been. It was a lot of political parties before, and now we're still not certain, Lamin. But I think there is going to be a lot of alliances. We have seen Dr. Ismaila Ceesay aligning himself with Honorable Maifati's Gambia Moral Congress and another political party, I think. And just as recent as a couple of days ago, we've seen Gambia for All under the leadership of course, Bakary Bunja Dabo, aligning himself with lawyer Ousseynou Dabo. So this is going to be a very, very interesting elections, and this is the perfect. This is going to be the perfect election for President Barrow to test his popularity and then to test the waters on his own as already sitting president of the Gambia.
Let's try to understand the veteran politician, UDP leader Ousseynou Dabo. He's been in this business for a very long time, for decades, for a very long time. And you every now and then you have people say that this is his last chance to take the presidency. If he doesn't win this time around, then it's all over for him. I mean, yesterday we've seen him, he was very confident. He said change is coming. He looked at his crowd and said change is coming. That his crowd, no other crowd can match that of his. Do you see Dabo winning?
Well, let's not, not me, but let me just bring what the people out there would say. Some people will say that, okay, yesterday's crowd, no matter what happens, Barrow should in fact start packing his stuff and leave the State House as soon as December 4th is done. And then some other people will tell you, the UDP crowd has always been there, and they have never won. So some people will tell you it has always been there, so this is nothing new. I think we need to put aside the crowd thing for now, because we've seen people actually come with big crowds, and at the end of the day, it doesn't translate to their votes. Mama Kandeh, for example, you are saying he's a heavyweight, and now there's a massive crowd out there. We don't know if they're going to be able to translate that crowd, into votes. But this is someone who's a heavyweight, of course, because Mama Kandeh was able to pull 17% of the total votes in 2016. That was his very first time. That was his very first time. So that was massive. So we don't really know. People will say, yesterday I saw a lot of positive comments about UDP's crowd yesterday. People are saying, okay, this is it. Barrow is done. UDP is in fact taking over. And then we have people on the other side saying the crowd has always been there. So what are you talking about? So it's very complicated to know what exactly the outcome is going to be by just looking at crowd sizes.
And also, let's try to get in terms of the reaction of the people. Let's get into that and how the UDP leaders showed up. You've seen him. He held this hand fan that was a charm fast into this.
There was.
So it would appear that this contest is also turning into a spiritual war.
I guess so. I guess so. I mean, like you have to do what you have to do. Yes. So I think they're all doing what they have to do to win these elections, and at the end of the day, we will see who comes out the winner.
Let's turn to the flamboyant SR Fall. He too has expressed interest in this job. I think he will be coming on Thursday. He will be filing his nomination the day President Barrow will file his own. I have seen the amount of people that have been following him everywhere he goes to, and he has also impressed a lot of people.
I've seen a lot of people. The crowd is massive. Every time he goes out, there's a lot of people behind him. So, and this is his first time. So that's kind of interesting, you know, but let's see what's going to happen come December 4th. But I've seen a lot of people rally behind SRFan, and I've seen his team as well, because there was a time he posted on his official Facebook, you know, members of his team, strategic team, I guess, and the resumes are impressive as a matter of fact.
And also, one thing that has always been said about Esa is the timing of his interest in the presidency. He was working for the TRRC, and then that process is yet to be completed, and all of a sudden Esa wants to be president. There's been
at a time when the TRRC report is not even submitted to the head of state yet. So it's a very complicated situation, and people think that he's not putting country first, that he's used his popularity on the TRRC to try to work himself into Marina Parade.
So in case you are just joining us, we still wait to have Mr. Kandeh, his nomination for president. His nomination for president there. So we still wait to see him get here. His supporters are here, just a few 100 meters away. I think I have seen some of the officials, Sayo, of Mr. Kandeh there.
Yes.
They have started arriving. These are the people that are going to assist him while he files his nomination. I see some of the officials there in their what? Purple.
Purple, right. They are the Purple Party. They are the Purple Party.
The Purple Party.
Yes.
RC bijang, Mama Kandeh bijang, parti militanol bijang, dula fatara tap, nga Mama Kandeh ba nomnet la, mbe murne me carte faylala, back to State House.
Nga kala muta ko ini ya Jammeh dentale. Afuma le minadina atel kafuta ate Mama Kandeh ma pour kaje ko alsa ma ko no pour ay carte fa winja.
Ni aja ni Mama Kandeh denta. Yaya Jammeh la miro ni Mama Kandeh la miro be mu mira kelengolati. Yaya Jammeh banko la miro min babulu, banko e Cairo soto, banko dingole Cairo soto, banko e security soto. Wala mi Yaya Jammeh la miroti. Banko dingolu yele pi soto kole yaya bo banko kan, mo fay bo banko kan. Wala tinna Mama Kandeh ani Yaya Jammeh ye bulodi nyola e koy bedum badim bung ntolle tamu Gambiati, ntolle tamu Gambia dingolti, banko keta kilinti ka pi sabatindi ka banko dingole nyanto dila. Mama Kandeh la miro ni President Jammeh la miro o mira kilungo ntol pati militanol wala na lata nyokan nko Mama Kandeh Yaya Jammeh le adina mba mutala mba bambula for last minute okono kaje ko Cairo min lefta la ka sabatindi ay sabati banko ka
baraka bage.
Mama Kandeh's convoy is already here. We cannot tell for sure, but it seems like just as yesterday, they were able to cross the police barricade to walk.
I can see Mama Kandeh has also been led to drive through the security barricade. He too is here for his nomination. That is Mama Kandeh there. That is Mama Kandeh, the leader of the GDC here at the IEC for his nomination.
Here you can see.
Mama Kandeh there in that white vehicle there. So this is the IEC. We are bringing to you live the nomination of the leader of the Gambia Democratic Congress, Mama Kandeh. He is the latest of the country's political leaders to come to the IEC to file his nomination ahead of the December 4th presidential election. That is Mama Kandeh there in the white vehicle with a green and purple flag. Have you seen that, Sajo? The green and the purple flag.
Yes, Lavin. Yes,
hanging
Lavin.
by the front of his car there. So Mama Kandeh is still inside his car.
He is yet to alight the vehicle.
Just to alight. You have reporters all over the vehicle. That is the green and the purple flag there.
The green, I guess, representing the No Alliance movement. Otherwise,
coalition.
APRC. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure whether they should be called APRC.
APRC. But yes, that represents them. They are still using the green flag, which is a color that belongs to the APRC. That is their party color.
And I have seen their leader, the leader of the No Alliance movement, Yaya Tamba. I have seen him in the crowd. He too is here to be by Mama Kandeh's side as he gets nominated. He will be the standard bearer for this election. Really, this is an alliance that only a few days ago was backing the Ghana leader, Sheikh Tidiane Haidara, as their leader, their potential standard bearer, only for them to switch to Mr. Kandeh. Quite interesting.
Yeah. Which is still not clear, because since the alliance between Ghana and the No Alliance movement was announced, and then Kandeh coming into the picture, we haven't heard or seen Sheikh Tidiane in any of these activities. As a matter of fact, the No Alliance movement and the GDC have been having a couple of meetings at Baobab Resort, but we have not seen the Ghana leader, Sheikh Tidiane Haidara, being present there, even at the signing of this agreement between the GDC and the No Alliance movement. So we don't know where he stands as far as this whole coalition thing is concerned.
And actually that raised a lot of suspicion. And I have listened to an audio that I obtained, Yaya Tamba addressing the No Alliance movement members there, saying there was always going to be a problem. That marriage was doomed to fail in that.
naa ko wane suñu diggante State House mooy elections right now loolu feeñ na fu mu nekk nii doomi aadama yi gën a tey ana si président Kandeh pour ñu nominate ko di gërëm di former président Jammeh bu nga xam ne tey am na yaakaar am na olute bu nga xam ne am na ko si président Kandeh ne mooy only leader bu nga xam ne right now si réew mi fii ku mën a isi Gambie nekk unity reconciliation dëkk bi nekk benn si wàllu développement kon président Jammeh ñu ngi koy gërëm bu baax a baax tam di gërëm support APRC ak support GDC yëpp tey ñu xam ne tey ñu ne si nomination bi jërë ngeen jëf
dama gis ne like APRC ak
That is MC Cham Jr., the National Youth President for the GDC, speaking to reporters there. So if you look at the leader of the No Alliance movement, Yaya Tamba, what he was saying is that when they decided to work with Sheikh Tidiane Haidara and his Ghana, they realized that this man in fact didn't have any supporters. Even at executive meetings, he would not even have his entire executive. He will come with only one or two people.
But Lamin, one would think that was already common knowledge. So what was Jammeh thinking in trying to align himself with Sheikh Tidiane Haidara? It seemed like most of the supporters, most of the Ghana supporters are just from Brufut. We've seen Sheikh Tidiane Haidara even held some rallies.
I have seen Kandeh emerge out. Kandeh is out now. He has alighted his vehicle, wearing his white robe, three-piece robe. Mama Kandeh is heading into the IEC compound now. He is here, surrounded by security, a lot of reporters. It's a massive day for this political leader, Mama Kandeh. You also have the Gambian flag raised behind him. That is Mama Kandeh there, wearing white. He will be heading inside now. To meet with officials of the IEC.
It is very tough getting into the IEC compound. It's a lot of people out there. Yes, he's been accompanied by party officials, I guess, and supporters. And then we have lots and lots of journalists out there. Yes. So getting into the compound is a bit challenging.
So some of the officials, I guess, entering.
Are being led through, yes.
That looks like his brother, actually.
Ablai, I think.
Yes. So these are officials of the IEC.
They're already seated.
Yeah, they've already taken their seats, waiting for Mr. Kandeh to arrive. So still people are struggling. Mr. Kandeh is yet to
People are still
enter
struggling to get in.
that little gate there.
I guess for security reasons they couldn't just open the big one.
Yeah, the big one
because people would just storm into the compound.
Yeah, they would, yeah. So there goes Mama Kandeh. I think he has entered now. But
he's now in the IEC compound, I guess.
Yeah, but it looks like our camera guy is still outside.
Struggling to get in.
Struggling to get in.
It's but a lot of cameramen out there.
Who is inside. So, so this is the inside. Mama has entered. And Mama will now go straight to that tent there, where he will be meeting with Aliou Momar Njie and his team
to tender his nomination papers to the IEC officials. I know some people might be wondering who is Honorable Mama Kandeh.
Yes.
Honorable Kandeh was in fact born in Sarebirom, yes. Jimara, yes. in the Upper River region. He was born in 1965, the same year that the Gambia gained her independence. Honorable Kandeh attended St. George's Primary School, I think in Basse Mansajang, and then spent part of his formative years, of course, in the Combos here, because he attended Crab Island Junior Secondary School, I think, before attending the Gambia Technical Training Institute. As far as career-wise is concerned, Kandeh has worked with the Gambia Ports Authority. I don't know under what capacity, but he has worked there before working in the tourism and hospitality industry as well. After that, he moved to Germany, where he spent some years before returning back to the Gambia to join Gambian politics. That's when he started his National Assembly journey, of course, under the then APRC.
Okay, that is
and one interesting thing, Lamin, because
about him.
Yes, about him. If there's I think he's already seated, Lamin.
He's
taking his seat.
So soon we'll cross over once the IEC chairman starts speaking. That is the prayers there.
Yeah, here. Submit your documents.
He looks quite calm and collected.
Yes, very calm and collected.
As a candidate, we Jammeh for president.
Okay, I think Mr. Njie has started speaking now.
Your documents, please.
This is party manifesto. This is the party symbol, color, and candidate photo. Yes. This is the candidate qualification. This was part of the forms that we received from you.
This is the nomination forms for Banjul. This is nomination form for URR. Nomination forms for West Coast. That's the term. Nomination forms for CRR. Nomination forms for North Bank. Nomination forms for LRR. Nomination forms for KMC. This is the asset declaration. This is the sponsorship letter. This is the receipt of payment and his tax clearance.
And do you have your voter's card? name of the candidate, not the name of the secretary. And the campaign itinerary.
Campaign ethics. Campaign ethics.
The campaign ethics is the campaign ethics. The campaign itinerary for the campaign.
Yeah, we are working on it. And hopefully
and also here. You should have signed it yourself. You should have signed it. Not the name of staff should not be there, but the name of the candidate. So you can get another one.
Yes.
Okay. You correct that later. The name of the candidate, not the administrative sector. Okay. Well, Honorable, having received all what is of you, this is the acknowledgement receipt. They are subject to public scrutiny come Saturday. Thereafter, we will communicate to you. Good luck and God bless. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Deji, congrats.
2019.
Now he'll be heading to the reporters out there to have a short interview, I guess, with them. So we will go there and take you through that interview that he is going to be having with the reporters. The GDC leader, Honorable Kandeh, accompanied by his party officials and members of the No Alliance movement. Like I said, Honorable Kandeh has already tendered his documents to the IEC officials and now will be facing the journalists to answer some questions. He's already on the podium now. Let's go there and see.
We are put up by Jammeh and we've been sponsored by Jammeh. What is your comment with regards to that?
Do I have to make any comment on that of something that was in 2016? And we have all seen what have happened. And if I was put up by Jammeh in 2016, it wouldn't have been like the way it is today. So I was never put up by Jammeh.
Just a follow-up. No alliance with the PRC. Victims who were victimized during the Jammeh administration are concerned. They are worried that your government, if elected, will not serve their interests. There will be no justice.
That's what you feel, but I believe as Gambians, if I have to represent, I represent everybody. So I told you.
Siding with a party that is seen as a perpetrator against those victims. How do you feel?
Are you talking about a party? I believe these are Gambians who you cannot send away from this country, and you are not better than a better citizen than them. Excuse me, you are talking about a party. Who are in that party? Are they not Gambians? So let me help you here. I have made it very clear that those that have come up with the name TRRC, I believe they have very brilliant ideas, and I am in support of the TRRC because the meaning of TRRC is to reunite Gambians, to bring Gambians together after the truth has been revealed. So we have to reconcile. And I did not create the TRRC, but I believe those that have created the TRRC, they know very well what they were doing, and I think it was a brilliant idea to think about reuniting Gambians, and that is a reconciliation. Thank you.
Can you justify the legality of the alliance with APRC?
I am nominated under the ticket of GDC. I am nominated under the ticket of GDC. I think that is clear. This is what I'm saying. Which APRC did I went with alliance? Can you prove that to me? You said no to alliance. You are talking about another group. So please. Yes. We are going to fight corruption to the latter. There are many ways how to fight corruption. Since this country, this current administration came into power, we haven't had anybody been fired or dismissed from his or her position because of corruption. And we know that corruption is rampant in this country. So,
are you going to elections? Gambians are not participating in peaceful elections. You are a politician with so many followers. What message do you have for Gambians?
My message that I have, not only for Gambians, but as my colleagues, political party leaders and candidates, my message have always been peace. And everybody can attest to that. And without the peace, we cannot achieve our goal. So I hope every Gambian, all political parties, would want to, maintain the peace and tranquility that the Gambia is known for.
Are you saying there is no alliance between you and APRC, breakaway faction, backed by Jammeh?
This is what my memorandum of understanding. You are talking about a breakaway group. This is not a registered group. So I think that is clear. That is why I am nominated under the ticket of GDC. That's very clear. Yes.
Provide amnesty to Yahya Jammeh.
Well, I don't know where were you when the memorandum of understanding was read, but nothing of that was mentioned. This is what I'm telling you. Nothing of that in my MOU with them is mentioned.
Suppose you are elected today on December 4th as president. You give us 3 immediate priorities.
First, to reunite Gambians, we are so divided. We cannot develop this country without unity. And a GDC government will try and do anything possible to bring Gambians together. And whoever becomes a president in this country, if you are not making any effort to reunite Gambians, you will realize no development. The second thing is the health sector. We have seen the situation in our health sector. And I think this is a priority. Education and agriculture. I thank you.
Speaking to the media fraternity after presenting his papers.
The IEC, he will be emerging out now. He will be emerging out. He will be emerging out now. So we will see if we can get Mr. Kandeh to speak to him exclusively regarding his nomination here today at the IEC. Sajo?
Yes, Lamin, as we can see,
yes.
Honorable Kandeh has already submitted his papers to the IEC officials, and he's briefly spoken there to members of the media. We are also looking forward to having a one-on-one with him if that is possible.
If that is something
as I can see from behind the scenes out there, it seems like the police will be allowing some of his supporters to pass through the barricade because it is one way, so they're going to come in this way and then
head that way. They will file
so
pass.
So we'll see if we can have
usual.
Honorable Kandeh. But some of the things he just spoke about with reporters includes him fighting corruption when he takes over office and making the health sector a priority, considering how dilapidated our health sector is.
Yes.
And he said something that I am not sure of, Lamin, because I'm very confused.
I'm not sure we are going to get
I'm
Mr.
not sure
Kandeh.
that is going to happen.
I think he has entered
He has entered his vehicle.
now.
Yes, but one thing
Yes,
that I
yes,
am
yes.
a little bit confused about is how he is not, standing in coalition with a political party. I cannot quote him verbatim, but he's saying something to the effect of, I am running under a GDC ticket. So he's not saying that he's in, I don't know, it's very complicated.
That is quite interesting.
We probably have to go back to the tape
interesting
to
what he said there.
Yes.
But I was thinking maybe he is trying to play safe too.
Yes.
Because it will be illegal. It will be illegal for him to appear here and say that I'm in coalition with APRC.
Yeah.
When you have an APRC, and the IEC had made it clear that the APRC that they recognized is the Fawakarito Mongjata APRC. So for him to come here and say I'm in coalition with APRC could land him in trouble. So I think he's trying to play safe. That is why he was saying that this is a breakaway group. They are not registered. So these are the people that I'm working with. So that is quite interesting. And I think the breakaway group will understand that. Yes, he is saying that in their MOU. That is something. We will try to see who we can talk to. We will try to see if we can talk to Mr. Kandeh. We will try to. No, it's Mr. Kandeh that is speaking. It's Mr. Kandeh. We will.
we will go into this election as two political parties. Hopefully, by the time we go to the polls on the 4th of December, we will regain full control of the... Confident that the APRC is still under Jammeh, based on our Congress resolution since 2018 in Buyam, and based on our Congress resolutions in 2021 at Penchami Hall. So we are going into this partnership as equal bargaining powers, but we nominated GDC to avoid any legal ramifications at the moment. And we have fully endorsed Mama Kandeh. Our understanding is we will go into the election on full bargaining power. When we get into government, we're going to make sure we have a proportionality of leadership. We share the leadership. We run this Gambia in accordance with the ideals of APRC. Free education to degree level if we can afford it, but we can afford free education to senior secondary level. Medical care will come back where hospitals will never run short of the basic needs. That will not happen. Leadership, every single group of women, anyone behind. We have no problem having
It's done here with the IEC and is now ready to leave. We can see his convoy leaving the premises of the IEC building here. Seems like there is no way for him to move because he's been blocked by the supporters. So as we can see behind the scenes, Honorable Kandeh has already left the IEC compound now and he's ready to leave. But it seems traffic is blocked here. It is actually just one way. You come in this side and then you leave the other side. But it seems there is some sort of traffic jam here. He cannot leave because he's been blocked by his supporters, both GDC supporters and the No Alliance movement. And I can see Lamin now has Lamin Tamba with him. Yes, Lamin, how are you? How are you?
Modu, can you give him a mic?
Have a seat.
Modu, can you give him that mic? Give him a mic. Sadio, we have the Lamin Tamba of the No Alliance movement.
Yes.
This is the guy who has been doing all the fighting online for the No Alliance movement of former President Jammeh. First of all, why did you decide to go against your own executive?
Now, APRC has got policies. We have a manifesto, we have a mission statement, we have a vision statement, and APRC as a party thinks about nothing other than Gambia coming first. Now, Jammeh made it clear to the APRC executive, the dismissed executive, the ex-executive of APRC. He made it clear to them that APRC should not go into alliance with the NPP because Barrow is not good for the Gambia, it's bad news for the Gambia. Jammeh, being a strong nationalist, will not allow APRC to support any candidate who doesn't think about Gambia first. And this is why he said, we are not going to go into alliance with NPP. He said it publicly and he said it many times privately. And this is why I stood up for what the party believes in. Although Jammeh is the face of the party and we have to use his name as a metaphor or anecdote or things like that. But we know for a fact that the reason Jammeh opposes it is because he doesn't see Barrow as a nationalist. He's not going to give up Gambia for anyone, and we all know that. There's no argument as to whether Jammeh is a patriot. And this is why I stood up and said, we have to fight for APRC ideals. Going to Barrow is a neglect of that APRC.
Does Jammeh own APRC?
Jammeh doesn't own the APRC, but he founded it. And until now, as I speak to you, Jammeh is the party leader, the supreme party leader, and the flag bearer of APRC, as resolved by two congresses. One is the 2018 Congress in Buyam, the other one is 2021 Congress at Penchami Hall. There has never been a leadership contest in APRC. There's never been a replacement of Jammeh in the APRC. So anyone who assumes the title of party leader and chairman of APRC is doing it illegally, and will advise them to refrain from assuming the position of party leader and flag bearer of APRC.
So, I mean, where does Ghana stand?
Yes, I will let Honorable Omar Sise and Sadio will continue from there.
Where does Ghana stand?
You sit here and I will give you my mic.
Because 1 minute they are saying that, the No Alliance movement will be aligning with the Ghana party. And next thing you know, he's saying that no, you're going to be GDC. There's nowhere to be found. Even at the signing ceremony of the MOU, where does it stand?
Okay, Setijan Haidara and the Gano party were our first partners to come into this alliance. That didn't mean everything was going to go their way until we know what the final team is. As I speak to you now, our final formation is not complete. We're still talking to 2-3 other parties. They want to work with us. They see what we stand for. They know we're all about Gambia 100%. Gano came into it and we had a discussion as to who was going to be the flag bearer. To avoid the legal wranglings, to avoid any hiccups on the way, we decided it would be best, the three of us decided it would be best if Mama Kandeh led. Because Mama Kandeh doesn't have any roadblocks, he doesn't have any legal obstacles on the way. But because of that selection of Mama Kandeh as the flag bearer, they were not happy because they had the impression that because they were the first to come, the flag bearer had to come from either them or the APRC. The APRC is undergoing legal wranglings right now with the dismissed executive, so we couldn't use the name at the moment. We couldn't use Gano because of 3 potential obstacles. GDC has got no obstacles, so therefore, this is a wise political decision, not least because GDC has bases across the country. GDC is polling around 25%. Give it a margin of error of 3%. They're polling around 25% and maybe more. APS is polling around 25% and maybe more. We have a system of election which is first past the post. If we can get 40 to 50%, the win is clear. It's going to be a GDC APRC alliance that's going to win clean. But the door is not closed for Gano. We will allow them to come back any minute. We can invite other parties to come in. We're not going to shut our door. The doors are open until the very day that nomination withdrawals are closed, basically. So anyone can come. UDP can come, DOI can come, National Unity Party can come, Gano can come back to the table. We are ready to form Gambia, a group of Gambians, a coalition of patriots who will serve this country's purpose 100%.
And finally, Lamin, what do you have to say to the critics who say, well, the only people winning here, in fact, is President Barrow's National People's Party and the Gambia Democratic Congress, and the APRC is done and dusted. What is your response to this?
Well, we've already proven that the APRC is on the jam. How many times do we have to prove it? We've shown it in Kanilai, we showed it in Kalaji, we showed it in Somita, we slammed it down in Gunjur. How many more times do we have to show to Gambians that we're the team to beat? And we're going to increase our lead right now because right now, people now know it's absolutely clear, crystal clear, that APRC is working with GDC. The majority of APRC who were led to go to NPP will return. They are returning. In fact, we have a meeting this weekend where a lot of them will return to the APRC-GDC alliance, and we're confident. Come the 5th of December, APRC-GDC will be heading to that state house.
Let's see how that works. And now we have.
Let me add by saying the roughness and the smoothness of the ground does not stop the rain from raining. We are going to state house. The brouhaha going around all political parties that will never stop the GDC from getting to state house December 4th. December 5th. There is no doubt
but
about
honorable
that.
Politics is a very funny game because when
that is why you expect us to win.
When President Barrow's National People's Party decided to align themselves with APRC, I guess, a lot of people, even from the GDC, were criticizing that, you know, this is a government that is being probed right now by the TRRC, Jammeh commissions, all the other commissions. Why would anyone want to align themselves with this party? And all of a sudden, now you are with the other faction. How do you respond to things like this?
I think it is a very important question for the fact that GDC will welcome every individual, every Gambian. It doesn't matter what tribe the person is, what religion the person is, which political party the person belongs. That doesn't matter to us. In as much as we are concerned, we are ready to unite Gambians. We are ready to reconcile Gambians. We are ready to make Gambians as one individual. So there is no doubt that in as much as the GDC is concerned, having the APRC on board, if President Barrow was committed, if President Barrow was ready to serve Gambians, obviously the moment he spoke to APRC about having alliance with them, obviously I will have expect all APR militants from the instruction of Jammeh to join President Barrow. But because the president let everyone down, that is why there is no way that APRC and other political parties can join the president. But instead, there is no other political party that most of this opposition political party will have hope on, if not the GDC. That is why I am saying we are winning. This is just the beginning. We have many and many more political parties coming on board. Yeah, this I can tell you for free.
Yeah, to add to it, Actually, one of our memorandum of understanding, one of the points in it is that we're going to redo the truth and reconciliation, because what we saw was not the truth and reconciliation. So GDC agreed to that. So GDC actually, even if they said the alliance between APRC and GDC, NPP was wrong, Barrow was not going to implement anything. You understand? Barrow's kept his deal with this APRC executive confidential. We don't know what's in it. But our deal is crystal clear. We will do the TRRC all over again, but this time the genuine victims will be called in and we'll look at how best we can redress the situation. This is different from President Barrow, whose party never acts according to the rule of law. We saw what they did with the Faraba Commission. The prosecution started, and the president, before the prosecution went to 10% or even gear 2, apparently he wanted to intervene and obstruct the course of justice. We cannot allow that. We'll allow the genuine victims of the 22 years rule of Jammeh, and there are no government rules in this world without having genuine victims. Whether that's because there's no surgical gloves and somebody died, whether there's blood shortage and somebody died, that's all government negligence. You understand? So there are people who died under Jammeh's government who might have died because of negligence from the security services, medical services, his convoys. We will call those families and say, we're sorry for this. This is what we think we can do to bring Gambia back together. You understand? So GDC, even if they criticized it before, they're willing to work with us on this, and it's going to happen, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Lamin Tamba. I think the rebel of the No Alliance movement, according to the National Executive.
Look at my badges. Look at my badges.
Thank you very much, Lamin, and thank you very much, Honorable Omar Sise, the PRO of the Gambia Democratic Congress. So I think that's it for the GDC nomination, Lamin. Quite interesting.
Very interesting, Sergio. They've come. Their leader has tendered his papers, and he will go back, head back. I'm not sure what is up next for them, really. Hopefully they will be marching, and then they will escort their leader back to his base. And then they will also wait and see what the IEC will come and say regarding their own nomination there. So that was the leader of the GDC. We were able to get two officials, one from the GDC, their spokesman, Mr. Omar Sise, who is also an MP, but also Lamin Tamba of the No Alliance movement. So they just finished speaking to us exclusively. So I think that's where we will leave it for this coverage, the GDC candidate nomination here at the IEC. We will be back shortly. Coverage continues.